Hello, YouTube. How are you guys doing today? Welcome back. New week, new day, new time to get started on Real Talk Therapy with your girl, Ebony Campbell. For those of you that are new, each Monday I go through the spiel of introducing myself or reintroducing myself and letting you know what the channel is about. Hoping that you will come on, subscribe, like, share, and comment and join us on this very, very important journey of mental health, mental healing, just mental, whatever it is that you want to call it and refer it to. But here on Real Talk Therapy, we like to have conversations using real things that we look at, listen to, experience from day to day, to get through uncharted waters, which is just simply being somewhere that you've never been before in life and trying to figure out how to navigate to get to where you want to go to. And sometimes mental health scares us. We think that we have to be deemed crazy or something has to be wrong with us in order to go and have a conversation with someone about what's going on inside of us. And that's not the case. So I want to encourage you to go out and get that treatment that you need. Currently, I am in the state of North Carolina. I am a certified alcohol and drug counselor in the state of North Carolina. I am also a certified peer support specialist and a master level qualified professional in the state of North Carolina in behavioral and mental health. I am in school to become a licensed clinical social worker so that eventually when I open up, I can provide a holistic approach. And when I'm using the word whole, like treat everything that you have going on, whether it's a mental health diagnosis or a substance abuse diagnosis, when you come to me for help. And until I reach that pinnacle and that high point and being certified and licensed in all of those areas, I'm here to help you where I can, and where I can't, I know some really cool people that can help you to have these conversations and get from point A to G if that's where you're going. Sometimes you might need to just go from A to B, whatever it is that you have going on. So I want to welcome you and thank you for tuning in to Real Talk Therapy 101 here on YouTube. So our channel features a conversation Monday through Friday, and we have been on the topic of self-care for the past 4 weeks. This is our 5th and final week on the segment of self-care, and we're going out with a bang this week talking about self-reflection. So if you guys can remember, when we started this thing with self-care, we had to go back to basics, and we had to go back to what our basics were, back to those things that we can remember, things that, we put under the rug and didn't want to deal with, and it's causing us not to be able to move forward. What made sense to us? So that's why I didn't say back to the basics, because the basics is what makes sense to everybody else. You got to do what works for you. And sometimes the unconventional approach is the best approach. It all depends. The elementary approach may be the best approach. It all depends. You know how you receive and retain. So you have to make sure when you're seeking to have these conversations and to go on these journeys, dealing with your mental health, that you choose a provider or choose someone that will, cater to you and provide the things in a way that you would understand them. Here on Real Talk Therapy, like I said, the conversations are so real to the point where I use cartoons, songs, movies, series that I'm watching, anything to help us relate and get a full understanding of what it is that we're going through. And so in the preparation or in the self-care segment, it was getting so good, y'all. I told y'all last week I was doing this by request of a sister friend, but it ended up feeding and nurturing my own soul. And that's why the segment has run so long. But we are going to wrap up self-care this week so that you guys can truly get a full understanding of what self-care means for you. So that when you start taking care of yourself, you can think back on some of these things that we talk about and you can start applying them to your life and getting through your uncharted waters. And here on Real Talk Therapy 101, I feature a custom-made t-shirt that goes along with a Coach bag of the day. Yes, if you're new here, I have a slight addiction to Coach. Yeah, I just have a slight addiction to Coach. I love Coach. Anything Coach. Now, well, let me rephrase that. I love Coach, but not necessarily anything Coach. So if it's anything that I love, I try to find it on Coach first. And then if I can't find it, then we seek stuff elsewhere. Like right now, I'm trying to get a Coach skin for my new MacBook. So Coach, sponsor your girl. We feature our Coach bag of the day along with the custom made t-shirt, and then just kicks of the day, the shoes and things that I may be wearing. And every Friday, we started a couple of weeks ago, but just featuring another entrepreneur that's out here doing big things in the world. And my first feature was for Walk Down Clothing, owned and operated by Talik Campbell. And I told y'all as it got colder, I would be breaking out some stuff. And this is one of, it's like a Letterman's jacket. And remember I told you guys about the logo? Do you see that? Where the world is holding down his walk down toboggan or scully or whatever you may call it. And then he has, when you walk down, don't be afraid. And remember I told you, this is walking down what it is you're looking for in life, where it is you want to go. And so since I have on this little leather, heather gray and white, and your girl had to travel today, I broke that out. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Walk down. Let me tell you something. If you haven't already gone to the website and tried to get in on this thing while it's a little movement, because it's getting ready to be a bigger movement here shortly. You see that W and that D. I don't even remember what year he came out with these. But you will be seeing more walk down gear moving forward, like I said. And so just wanted to share that with y'all today before we get started here. And those of you that are new, I have learned a lot more about YouTube than I did when I first got started, but I'm still a YouTube newbie. So if I make a mistake on here, it stays. I ain't got time to edit and to do all that stuff. Your girl be busy. So we learned it and we get there. Whenever Coach sponsors me, I can hire somebody to do all that. But for right now, we just kind of go with it and make it do what it do. Today's shirt, I hope you guys can see that. It says it's time. Oh, it doesn't say it's. It says time to reflect. Real Talk Therapy 101. And you got a clock here. And this design is, or the vinyl, I'm sorry, not the design, but the vinyl is made with some puff vinyl. I know sometimes you can buy some shirts out of the store that kind of lifts up off your shirt. So like I said, we do a lot with these shirts. And the bag of the day, because your girl was traveling, is of course the luggage ensemble. So my backpack and the luggage that I travel with here. And the kicks for the day are the heather gray Vapor Max. Y'all, and I be saying some stuff too, because I just be talking. So sometimes I be going in, and I noticed a couple of videos back, I said I had on phone pauses. I don't own any phone pauses. I keep saying that. So I don't know if that's just, the universe trying to speak to my sneaker plug to get me some Vapor Max. I don't know. I mean, not Vapor Max, phone pauses. But right now, I'm really into Vapor Max in the different colors of Nike. So Nike, you too, sponsor. I think I've only worn one pair of sneakers that weren't Nike since I've been doing this, and that's probably New Balance. So, y'all better get on this thing now while you can, because when I blow up, the price going to be high. Remember I told y'all yesterday's price ain't going to be today's price. Right now, you can get in this thing. Y'all better get with me while the getting is good. All right. Now, let's get into this thing for today. So, in self-care, we went through that first phase of self-love. We had to learn how to love ourselves again so that we can be okay with the mistakes that we've made and where we've gotten in our journey. Once we begin to love ourselves, we had to be aware of who was around us, who needed to be around us, who didn't need to be around us. You need to be aware of who might be trying to steal your identity, who might be trying to steal your ideas, who might be out here perpetrating a fraud, trying to copycat and be you, simply because they don't know how to be themselves. Then once you're aware of all of that, now you've got to, work on that self-development of, this is who I am now. This is what I got going on. This is what circumstances have created, for me. And these are the boundaries I'm putting in place. This is how I'm moving now, because I love myself enough to now move according to what will and won't work for me. Now, everything that I love, everybody that I love, I can make it a part of that. But I had to learn how to, we had to learn how to love ourselves enough to put ourselves first so that we can be self-aware, so that we can be going through our self-development. And last week we talked about self-preservation. Now that I've gotten where I think I want to be right now, and it's okay if you're not completely there. Remember, change is evolutional. It's going to happen whether we want it to or not. Things are going to change. The seasons change. You can't do anything about it. The months change. You cannot do anything about it. Time changes. It's nothing you can do about it. So you get on, according to how you're going to adapt to whatever the change is in your life. Sometimes change can be, unfathomable, and that's a fancy word for saying, I just don't know if I could deal with this change. But you can. I guarantee you, anything that life throws at you, you can make it through. Think about the stuff that you've gone through and how you've come out on the other side. You can do it. You can do anything you put your mind and your heart to. Remember, early on, I told you guys everything that I ever wanted to do in life when it came to jobs, I've done it. Now, I'm not still doing it, but I've done it. And I've done all of these things to know that the end result, the end goal for me right now is to be out here letting people like you know that you matter. You matter enough not to take your life. You matter enough not to give up. You matter enough not to stay on that job where people are using you or abusing you. You matter enough not to stay in that relationship where, things aren't working out for you. You matter enough to get over that addiction. Don't let that thing kill you. You matter enough. You matter. And I can't stress that enough here on Real Talk Therapy. So this week, now it's time to reflect on everything we've done to preserve and every place that we've gotten, so that the more we do self-reflection, the more you will understand that going back to where you came from is dangerous territory. Remember, I told you guys, some bridges you need to burn them, set that crap on fire, and go on about your way. You can look back over there from time to time, just don't go back. And remember all the lessons and the things that you learned from it. Some bridges need repairing. You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, I can't burn this bridge, but this motherfreaker is tore down, is wore out, is missing parts. So I can repair it because I still kind of want to have this connection. This connection means something to me. I still want to be a part of this connection. And it's okay to do that. When it comes to an addiction, sometimes that's the way to deal with it. Stopping some stuff cold turkey will kill you. We'll get into that on the channel, especially when it comes to substances and alcohol. You have to know how to wean yourself off of that stuff, or you'll mess around and kill yourself trying to get clean and sober. And we don't want that to happen to anybody. So when it's time to reflect, we got to sit down and look at all of those things that we've been writing in our handy little journal, all of this stuff that we've tried to, come from and bounce back from. And then instead of looking at your circumstances in self-reflection, who do you guys think you need to be looking at? Self-reflection. And a reflection, when you think about a reflection, what is that? It's the mirror. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? When you look in the mirror, what do you want to see? When you look in the mirror, what do you hope and wish was there? And nobody can answer that question but you. You know, as human beings, we have a tendency to go to people for every little thing. What do you think about? Or tell me what you think about this. It's okay to solicit advice, but you don't have to go along with the advice that's given. And if you're going to ask somebody's opinion, make sure you let them know that, you know, you value asking them, but don't go around here asking people that you don't value their opinion and they haven't really given you any good advice in the past. They ain't giving you no good advice to help you with your future. And remember, some people just gonna tell you whatever because they don't want to see you advance. They don't really want to see you make it. They want you to think that because all the time they around you trying to steal your ideas, trying to do stuff the way that they think you would do it, and trying to, you know, get in your head. The worst thing you can do is allow somebody to begin to pull puppet strings as though you're a puppet and they're your puppet master. Make your own way. Speak your own mind. And you know you're doing the right thing for yourself when other people don't like it. And the people who don't like it is usually the people that are around you for selfish motives. So then you start weaning out your cheerleaders and your fans. Can't stress that conversation enough. But today we're gonna look at one song by one of my favorite artists, who's no longer with us, Mr. Michael Jackson, the infamous Michael Jackson, king of pop. Man, listen, Mike has so much going on, and in the midst of child sex abuse allegations that were made against him, and to this day, I don't know if that stuff was true or not. I don't get into that. If that was so, Mike gonna have to deal with what he gonna have to deal with when the time comes. But he was a lyrical and musical genius from a child on up. Jackson 5 to the time he had that doctor administer him that fentanyl that took him out of here. So now let me plug right quick as a certified alcohol and drug counselor. Michael Jackson had a doctor on staff, a medical doctor, to administer fentanyl to him, and he dead. Y'all out here playing with the plug. Don't know what they putting it in there. You think it's fentanyl, and you drop it like flies. I wouldn't give a, y'all know what kind of high you're getting. Is it worth your life? That's what you got to consider. Is it worth your life? Because it can take your life. When I show you guys exactly how much fentanyl can take you out of here, and Michael Jackson had a doctor. I can't stress that enough. Somebody who should have known how much would kill the man and how much they had already administered to the man. And just because he was Michael Jackson, the doctor did what he said. Now Michael Jackson out of here, and you know, if you've been following the news or whatever, you know the fate of the doctor. You know what I'm saying? So hey, it's up to you. Do what you do. I don't got MJ paper yet, but I'm going to have MJ paper. And when I get my money, I don't believe I'm going to be messing with no fentanyl. Just so y'all know. So, he wrote a song, Man in the Mirror. And as we're talking about self-reflection, he starts out saying, I'm going to make a change for once in my life. I'm going to feel real good, going to make a difference, gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite white winter coat, the wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? Now, for Mike, I don't know what he was going through when he wrote this, but just starting it out, he said, I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. And for him, he's talking about how, you know, I'm out here in the wintertime. You know, he was born in Gary, Indiana. Some rough winters over there. Mike said he turning up the collar on his favorite winter coat. But while he's out here wrapped up, he's now seeing some kids on the street with not enough to eat. And he's asking himself, who am I to ignore and pretend not to see their need? And he said, a summer's disregard, a broken bottle top, and one man's soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, because they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know. And in that verse, he's talking about somebody homeless that's out here in this cold winter. So now remember, he done popped his collar on his favorite winter coat. He walked past his kids with nothing to eat. Now some people out here, you know, they homeless. The wind is blowing. They ain't got nowhere to go. And Mike says, the infamous chorus, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Ooh. I'm asking him to change his ways. I'm going to quit singing because y'all see I can't sing. But then he said, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Those words hit home. Because on a personal note, when stuff was going wrong in my life, I used to feel like everybody around me needed to change. It was nothing wrong with Ebony. Nothing wrong with Ebony. Now, I done popped the collar on my favorite winter coat, but I had noticed all of the other needs around me because I was taking care of my needs and I wasn't necessarily taking care of the needs of those that were important to me. But I was running out here, running myself ragged for some fans, some employers, you know, some other folks that was in my life. I was giving them the extra mile and wasn't putting in where I needed to put in at. And if I hadn't have been, you know, if it hadn't have been for some cheerleaders in my life that loved me enough to say, here, look in this mirror. I want you to see you. I want you to see what you look like when you're dealing with me or when you're dealing with this situation or when you're dealing with that situation. I want you to hear what you sound like. Because now you got to explain yourself. Before, I didn't know that if you got loud, you was passionate about something. I thought you had beef, you want some smoke. Before, I didn't know, you know, that if you're listening, or if you're listening to music, I didn't know what that meant for you. Or if you don't want to do something, we didn't know that you didn't want to do it because we just wanted you to go here and do this and be there for us because that's what you've always done. And we all find ourselves doing things we don't necessarily want to do. Listen, there's a time and a place and a purpose for that. But for the most part, if it's not in you to want to do it, you're not going to do good at it anyway. And if we don't look in the mirror, if we don't start with the man or woman in the mirror, or however you identify, if you don't look in the mirror and start there, there's never going to be real change in your life. Change starts within. It's in you. Be honest with yourself. Self-reflection is sitting down and saying, look, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be on this job. I don't want to be in this relationship. I don't want to go, you know, to church every week. I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. It's okay. And those people who truly love you, your cheerleaders will understand. But your fans going to have a hissy fit out here on these streets. Because now you're not accommodating them. And if you wouldn't have done all this work to get to self-reflection, you wouldn't have understood that. And you would have still allowed people to have control over you that don't. Why? Why? You weren't created for someone to control you. You weren't created to go out here and try to be like somebody else. Be who you are. Some of y'all will never tap into your full potential because you are truly trying to be something and someone that you are not. So after Mike said, he's starting with the man in the mirror. This is a verse, and you guys check this song out. Go back and listen to it. Listen to the words. Google the lyrics and truly listen to the words. He says, I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize there are some with no home, not a nickel to loan. Could it be really me pretending that they're not alone? Remember, at any given time, your circumstances could change. So I'm a firm believer that if I'm blessing other people and I'm paying it forward, I got a bank down the line somewhere, because I've blessed without anybody telling me how to bless. I've paid it forward without anybody telling me where my offering needs to go. I've done good for a stranger who will never know who I am, so that they can never pay me back. So somewhere down the road, that has to come back to me. Y'all don't want to give. Some of y'all don't know how to give. It's okay. And it doesn't matter what it is to give. Paying it forward is not always with money. When I grow out of stuff, a lot of times for me, I don't know about for y'all, but when I'm growing out of stuff, it ain't old and torn or none of that. Give it away. I ain't having no yard sale. I don't feel like it. You ain't got to pay. Take it. Here, give it away. I have more than enough. But some of us are hoarding things that can be used to bless somebody else, and we can see the need. And the more we pretend not to see the need, when karma comes back around, when it's your turn, man, listen here. It costs $0 to be a good person. But that's too much like right. And a lot of people don't want to do what's too much like right. So as it's time to reflect, we got to start with the person in the mirror. We got to ask ourselves to change our ways, because now we know how to be selfish enough with what we need to be selfish with, and selfless enough for those things that we need to be selfless with. You know, I know my limit on giving now. I know now I can't give everything that I got. And I know now it's okay to say, I'm sorry, I don't have it to give. And I know that it's okay to do that now. I'm self-loving enough of myself to say, hey, if they can't understand that I can't do it this time around, then hey, that's unfortunate. But it's okay. Because sometimes it weeds out those people that we would be unable to weed out, on our own. So as we go through this week on this beautiful journey of self-reflection and what really needs to change and stay a constant change, I want you to be open and honest and be real with yourself. You don't owe me anything. You don't owe anybody else anything, but you owe yourself everything. And if you really want to get where you're trying to go, start with yourself. Get focused on you so you can get in the right direction, and everything and everybody else that's supposed to come along with you, you'll be able to know. And I'm telling you, it will free up some space. It will free up some headache. It will free up some time. It will free up so many different things in your life. It'll lighten your load. So, thank y'all for coming. Look, I'm talking about coming out like y'all over here with me. Thank y'all for coming through and checking out the page. Please, again, like, comment, subscribe. Let's get this thing going, guys, so that we can help other people who don't know that Real Talk Therapy is out here, who are afraid to make that initial step to do what they need to do for their survival. Remember, mental health is vital for your survival. Your mind got to be right so everything else can fall in line. So y'all take care, be easy, and see you guys tomorrow.